Welcome, everyone. This is Blue Buqua talking on our contamination control podcast for aseptic manufacturing. Today, we have a very special guest. Indeed, I'm speaking with our president, John Mitchell, who is going to talk about particle measuring's very exciting 50-year anniversary. Hi, John. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Blue?
I'm doing great. It's really good to have you here today. Thank you for making the time. Let's begin with a little introduction. How long have you been at Particle Measuring Systems, and what jobs have you held?
I've been here for 27 years, and I started as a staff scientist. And what I came to find out was that um, Dr. Nolenberg, the founder of Particle Measuring Systems, had been trying to sell the company for any number of reasons for some time. And in one case, they had a deal kind of fall through because the buying company was concerned that if Dr. Nolenberg left, there was no one pushing the state of the art. There was no research department, and certainly Dr. Nolenberg was exceptional at that. So they hired me and another guy. Craig Parsons was his name, and we became the R&D department so that it could appear that you know there was going to be some ongoing research and development, beyond Dr. Nolenberg. And 1 year, almost to the day after I started, they ended up selling the company to Spectrus. So as I say, it was kind of like painting your house before you sell it. That's why I got hired at PMS, but it's worked out pretty good for me. Um, After staff science, well, while I was a staff scientist, I was developing sensors that were going inside of process tools. And so I would build a prototype, and then I would I'd ask our salespeople to find customers that might be interested in testing it. And so I'd go out and go to the customer sites. All our customers were semiconductor back then, essentially. And I'd install the sensor and collect the data and see if it was valuable to the customers. And as part of that, I found I really liked going out and working with the customers and not just being a scientist, but then taking the science and applying it. And so um, when Paul Kelly, the next president of Particle Measuring Systems, took over, he decided that we needed an application. Well, we had an applications engineering department, and he decided to make me manager of that department. And it was a good job for me because it was technical, but I got to go out and work with customers, and you're kind of a technical salesperson to some degree. So I really enjoyed that job, and that was my second job at PMS. And after I did that for a couple years, I became the director and slash VP of marketing. It started off as director, eventually got promoted to VP, and then after that, I did that job for a few years. I became VP of the R&D department, so of our engineering department, and I did that for a few years as well. I was the one who brought in PD Track that we still use today, and actually is a nice tool for managing the development process. Um, Again, did that for a few years. While I was doing that, I was working very hard on the UltraChem 40, so I was heavily involved in the development of that product as well as some of the 20 nanometer stuff. And then then Paul Kelly decided that particle measuring systems should go to a divisional system that we still have today. So back then we just had, there were no divisions. It was all just sort of, one group, and we had a liquids PLM and a aerosol PLM, and that was it. There was no differentiation between pharmaceutical and electronics. But what had happened is we'd grown our pharmaceutical business enough that it deserved to get some individualized attention, along with the electronics certainly needed the individualized attention. So we went into two divisions, and I became the general manager of the electronics division, and Ron Adkins became the general manager of the life science division. And then again, I did that for a couple of years, and in 2010, I took over as president. So I've been president now for about 12 years.
Fantastic. So what are some of the biggest changes that you've seen?
Yeah, there's so many. First of all, that purchase by Spectris, that was a very, very big change. And, it took it from being owned by Dr. Nolenberg to being run by a professional corporation. And one of the things that was very different very soon was Dr. Nolenberg, he liked to be vertically integrated, and he had good reasons for that, at least where he started. And what I mean by vertically integrated is he wanted to make everything. I used to joke that we start with sand. So REO used to be part of particle measuring systems, and so they made the lenses and the lasers, and we made our own PC boards, and we had our own machine shop, and literally did almost everything internal to the company. And when Spectris came over, they said, well, there's people who are a lot better at making PC boards and machining parts than particle measuring systems. And so we should let them do that, and we should focus on our core capabilities, like designing particle counters and calibrating particle counters. So that was a huge change because we used to have all those different functions, and we outsourced all that. So that was a really big change. Probably the next biggest change after that was, it was another very, very big change. It was just after that was our decision to go into pharmaceuticals and sell to the pharmaceutical manufacturers. And before we decided that, again, before Spectris owned particle measuring systems, the thought was pharmaceutical companies don't need much technology and they won't pay. We won't be able to get good margins for our products. Well, we did some research and convinced ourselves that wasn't true. There were ways you could make good margins, and it was by being solutions focused and not focusing on the technology. And so we started to make that transition, and there's a lot to that. So we had to become experts in the field of pharmaceuticals and the regulations. And we needed to offer a lot more than just a product. We needed to offer the ability to install our FMS systems and support them, and provide our own software and do it locally. And so that drove even more changes, because if you're going through a distributor, you don't come across as the expert. You're at the whim of your distributors, and some of them were good and some of them weren't as good. But everything that we could bring to the table couldn't be done through a distributor. So we started going direct. And what I mean by going direct, we started buying our distributors, or if they wouldn't sell, we just start our own business in that country. And that was really the first reason why we started rolling up our global distribution system. And today, we have a direct presence in almost every major market. So it took a long time to do that, but it was a great move. And it didn't just start with our distributors. We had to do other things too. We had to put in place projects teams and advisory service and microbial products and all those different things. Just by getting into pharmaceutical drove an immense amount of change through the organization. And almost all of it is good, because a lot of the things that we've built are really difficult for the competition to copy. Anybody can go and build a particle counter, but building an advisory team and a service network around the world is really hard. So that was a key decision that drove a lot of changes in the company. Um, and again, part of that was the service focus. And the other good part about, you know, being direct in all these different places is we get the revenue from the service in those places, when through distributors you don't. And now that service is, you know, almost a third of our business. So it's really, really important. It's very profitable, and it actually is a big differentiator between us and our competition. Um, Obviously, we became more international as a part of that. Um, you know, another big change has been we always tried to get better at our job every day, but you know, now with Spectris help, we're really focused on continuous improvement and becoming more efficient, more effective in what we do. So, you know, becoming lean and using the Spectris Business Systems tools is a big change. So again, wasn't that many years ago when we didn't have daily management and Gemba walks and all those kind of things. So a really important change for the company. Another big change has been we're much more connected with Spectris. And this started even before the platform transformation. But now that we're going to a platform, that's a big change. When I took over as president, there was essentially no interaction between the companies. So that's not the right way to be for sure. So it's really good that we're trying to take advantage of the size and different skills within Spectris. Um, and, you know, finally, there's points while I've been here that we had only about 150 people at PMS, and everybody mostly was in Boulder with, you know, maybe 10 exceptions. And now we have around 700 people, and 60% of those people are outside the US. So a really big change in terms of the number of people and where everybody is.
Fantastic. So, from this long list of achievements, what are some of the things that you are the most proud of?
Well, for sure, the thing I'm most proud of is we always care about our people and really work hard to provide a good place to work. Um, and that's by far what I'm most proud of. Our goal, and I'm sure we're not perfect and haven't been perfect, but I know we try every day. Our goal is to always treat people with respect. And overall, we've done a good job. We've had so many people grow both personally and professionally, largely by their own initiative within PMS, and it's just been something that's a joy to watch. And I'm proud that we do a better job of developing people intentionally now than we used to. And so that's something I think is very important and something that I've learned is important over the years. And and I think it shows in the performance of the company. Um, I think, and then finally, I think how much I've grown starting here as a scientist, and it's amazing that I've had this opportunity. And I'm proud that I'm better at my job today than I was just 3 years ago. So
Great.
um, I got more. I'm proud of a lot of stuff. You know, as part of caring about our people, we've invested in their wellness with health checks, non-smoking programs in the clinic, and I think that's been a great benefit. And I know that saved a couple people's lives, and I'm really proud of that. Um, I'm proud of that we've built this company doing things the right way. Um, Certainly, we care about our people, but also we've been very ethical. We try and do things the right way, and I've been lucky because I've always had leaders and bosses who were very ethical and showed me, you know, the right way to do things. Um, I'm proud of the culture that we built. It's a very can-do culture. We accept our mistakes and shortcomings, and we have plenty of both, and try and get better. And many people working at PMS through the years and today have more than one job in reality. And people are willing to do that, willing to do the extra effort, and they grow and they get experience and they advance in the company. And the company is successful because of their hard work and experience. And finally, we also have a very frugal culture. And I'm proud of that. And that may sound funny, but it's hard to believe because PMS is so successful now. But back in the old days, when the semiconductor industry used to go up and down, one year we'd have a good year, and the next year business would go down by 25 or 30%. And it was really hard not to lose money. So, for instance, during the last bad downturn was the financial crisis, 2008, that kind of a time frame. And we had to let some people go, and nobody liked doing that. And but we minimized the number of people that we let go because people took pay cuts. Many of us took pay cuts. We literally cut every cost we could think of. For instance, instead of having nice coffee machines that cost money to rent every month, we got a big percolator and just had, Folgers basically. When we had a company lunch, Paul Kelly would go to the grocery store and get, some Wonder Bread and some cold cuts, and that's what we had for the lunch. And anything you can think of that you spent money on, we found a way to spend less. And at the end of the year, we broke even. And when I say broke even, I think we made like $100,000. And that was a big achievement, giving, again, for those of you that remember the financial crisis, it was really, really bad. And so I'm really proud of that frugal culture, and I'm proud that the company never lost money. So that's my list. Oh, one more thing. Sorry, one more thing.
Definitely.
I'm really proud of the international nature of our company. And, we have people that are on the executive team from around the world. We had Bill Su in China, and now we have William. And Bill Su, I'm 100% sure, was the only person only executive level person at Spectra, that was in China, basically. So now we have William, and we have Frank in Germany, and we had Johnny before that. And we're international, and we're happy to take advantage of people's talents no matter where they live. So that's something I'm really proud of, because I don't think all companies do that. Now I'm done.
Thank you, John, for sharing these really important stories. So my next question is, how is PMS celebrating the 50 years?
Well, so we're trying to celebrate in a lot of different ways, and it's not just a big party, which we're going to have our big party next week in Boulder anyway. But first of all, it's talking about the history like we are today, and like we did in the newsletter, and talked about Dr. Nolenberg interview and those kind of things. So really hopefully people are getting a taste of the history of PMS so that they can appreciate how far it's come. And then, we're doing some small celebrations around the world, and, just having little parties and those kind of things here to try and recognize that, and doing it everywhere. And then again, some large celebrations like the one we're going to do next week. And then I'm going to try and visit almost everybody over this year so that we can celebrate together. So, go out and have a dinner or a party or whatever it is, and just celebrate the 50th anniversary. And if people want to ask me stories about the old days, well, then obviously I'm happy to talk about those.
Super. So what does 2022 look like for PMS?
So 2022, it's going to be a very good year, but in some ways it's like last year where we had a very, very good year, but sometimes it didn't feel like it because of the supply chain challenges and the long lead times. Health-wise, hopefully we have a good year. And I think we're moving out of the pandemic phase of COVID and into the endemic. So hopefully we can have a more normal life and have people not be getting sick because of the COVID. I think we're going to have a good year because we're going to continue to improve as a company. We're investing in our people. We're doing a lot of training. People are getting new opportunities. We've got quality that we're investing in, quality systems and quality tools and people that are going to help us provide better products to our customers and help our suppliers provide better parts to us. And finally, I think we're going to have a good year because we're going to have fun. So that's part of this 50th anniversary is let's have some fun and do that. But it's more than that. It's just, again, treating people with respect and, actually winning in the marketplace. I find to be fun too. So I think that should be the number one goal, is to have fun, because if we're not doing a good job, we won't be having fun. So let's do a good job and have fun.
Wonderful. Thank you, John. So I guess my last question is, are there some next steps? Is there anything else you'd like to mention?
Yeah, there's a couple of 4 things or so. First is we're going to get a new building. We do have a contract, and it's about 8 minutes from PMS. It's not completely done deal yet, but it should close this month. So that's the first thing, and that's very exciting. So because we know we're very crowded in our current facility.
Yeah.
The platform transformation is very important, and we'll be focused on getting more effective and more efficient. Hopefully, we're taking the best from each of the companies and trying to use that across the platform. And I'm sure over time we'll cooperate together more as companies as well, and find ways to, utilize our size better. But PMS will always be PMS. There is absolutely no plan. It would be a bad idea for us to combine with Servomex or anyone else. Next is Spectrus and we are very focused on sustainability. And it's both making sure we operate in a sustainable fashion and making sure that we take advantage of the trends that sustainability is driving, so that we can be even more successful in the future. Some of those trends are things like alternative energy, environmental protection, alternative transportation, and advancements in health. And then finally, Spectrus is working hard to become even more inclusive and diverse. And so we'll have lots of discussions and work hard to even get more inclusive and more diverse than we've been in the past.
Fantastic. John, thank you so much for your time today. I really
thank you.
appreciate it. And speak to you next time.
Okay, it was a pleasure. Thank you.